it's Maisie. We're back here in the Sholo TV studio and we're bringing you Adult DIY. We're in partnership with Sholo Public Library and I've got a special guest with me today. This is Betsy from the Pinetop Lakeside Library. They partnered with us on this project, so you were able to come to our library and pick up kits. You were also able to come to Betsy's library and pick up kits. So you're new to the library, right, Betsy?
Yes, I've just been there since the end of July and I'm loving it. It's really fun. I stepped into the role of the programs librarian, so I'll be doing adult, children, and teen programming. And Maisie's been a great help to give me some ideas and kind of get me orientated to what kinds of things we can do.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be really fun. Are you guys going to be doing anything fun anytime soon?
Well, right now we have a survey out that's on our Facebook page, and also we have hard copies at the library. Trying to get a feel for what our patrons want to see as far as programming, and also how comfortable they feel coming into an in-person activity. We have had people asking, so I'm hoping that, by the end of September perhaps, or maybe into October, we'll be able to start story times again for small groups, and probably a teen activity. I've got something in the works. And for the adult, we'll be doing some more grab and go bags similar to this. It won't be on Facebook, but it'll still be a craft kit with everything in it that you need.
Cool. So for those of you that don't know, the Pinetop Lakeside Library is across the street from the movie theater in Lakeside. So it's off of Woodland Road. So when you come to the movie theater, if you made a right, you go to the movie theater. And if you go left, there's like a little circular sort of thing, and the library's back in there. And they also have a Facebook page and their website so that you guys can go on there and see kind of what they're doing, and you can follow what we're doing too.
And whenever there's something special, we usually put it on the marquee out front too.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
So there will be a marquee message that will say, story time, or grab and go DIY kits and so forth.
That's good.
As soon as we get it going.
Yeah, you got to get yourself organized first. It's so hard now trying to
It is.
juggle everything, but that's good.
But we're lucky we have that marquee because everybody sees it.
Mm-hmm.
So
good. Okay, well, so today, when you picked up your kit, or if you're watching at home, what you're going to need to make this really pretty fall wreath. We're going to talk about that. So I made mine, and Betsy made hers a little bit different. So I'm going to talk about kind of how you do mine first, and then I'll let Betsy talk about how she did hers. That way you guys can sort of see both. See, hers has leaf stuff that's on the front and the back, and see mine sort of naked on the back, but that's okay. So we're going to talk about how we make these projects. So to make the project, what you're going to need is a foam wreath form, which is this thing that's here. They sell these online is where I got mine, but you can find it at the dollar store. You can find them at Walmart. I've seen people actually make these with pool noodles on Pinterest, where they like cut it in half and then you fold it and you glue it, and it makes like because you can find those for like $1 sometimes during the summer. So you can do any kind of wreath form like that. That's foam. You're going to need some fake leaves, which these are just like polyester or silk leaves that you can buy on, I bought mine on Amazon, but I've seen these at the dollar store too. Different colors of leaves that you can use. You're going to need your book pages, which is torture sometimes, but you got to do what you got to do. I used something that's called the Webster's Encyclopedia of Dictionaries. Somebody donated this years ago, and so I've been cutting the pages out of it, but it's just book, paper, regular book paper. So whatever you got at home, something that you're going to give up for this project. You're also going to need your leaf stencil, which I just cut out a little one that I found online, but Betsy's got a bigger one. So you just have to sort of decide how you want it to look, but you're going to want something that's similar to your leaves so that this is your actual leaf and this is going to be your little one. Or if you're going to have a bigger one, it'll stick out around. So you can kind of decide which one you want. You're going to need your hot glue gun with your glue sticks, of course, a pencil, a pair of scissors, and then you're going to need some twine. This is just something that I had. Betsy did hers with like a ribbon kind of thing. So whatever you have at home, this can kind of go either way. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to create your tie, so the thing that holds your wreath up when you're hanging it. Normally you do that first on your project because I wanted to be able to show you guys sort of how this one works. I'm doing it now, but normally you just have your foam circle be plain, and then you would do this part. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your twine, so you're gonna fold it in half, and then you kind of can see once you fold it in half, that's sort of how long it's gonna hang. So depending on how long or how short you want it to hang down, wherever you're hanging it, you'll cut it that length. Then you're just gonna tie a knot in the top so that you can loop it through. So you're gonna tie your knot. So you have your loop, this is your knot, so these were the ends that were open. And then you're just gonna kind of slip knot it through. So I'm gonna fold it over and I'm gonna tuck it in. This one's too short, don't do that. And then you're gonna tie it on so that you have your, normally, if you measured correctly, it would be longer, okay? So that it's gonna hang up at the top, all right? So let me fix it here for a second so that you can actually see what it's gonna look like, because I cut it too short. That's why if you use something you already have at home, you don't have to worry about all of a sudden not having no more. So I'm gonna make it really long so you guys can see what it looks like on there. So same thing, I'm gonna fold it in half. See, this one's definitely gonna be too long, but that's okay. I'm gonna tie it in a knot like this. So here's my knotted end, and then here's my other end. And I'm just gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna slip knot it through. So you're gonna go under, you're gonna put the knot through the loop, and you're gonna pull it so that it's gonna hang like that. See, that looks better. So then you'll be able to hang it on your door. So once you've got that on there, what you're gonna wanna do, and this is the most time consuming part of this whole project, I think, was the tracing and the cutting out.
Yeah.
So this would be a good time, if you plan on doing a lot of this stuff, to invest in maybe like a punch. If you could find one that was a leaf, or you might be able to do it on your Cricut. I don't know how the paper would sit on the mat. You'd have to test it if you have something like that and see if it would come off or if it would get too sticky. With ours, when I've tried to do the book page paper in the past, if it's not cardstock and it's just regular book paper, it gets stuck to the mat and then I rip it and I can't get it off. So it just depends, but we cut ours out by hand, yes, and it's a lot of cutting. So you're gonna trace your little stencil onto your paper and just cut them out, just like normal. That takes the most amount of time. I think for mine, it was about 70 leaves.
Yeah, mine, I think what I did was, since my, the template that I put in the kits from our library were, I made a template of this, the book page leaf, and it was pretty big. And so the book pages that my kits had could each have 3 leaves at a time. And so everybody got, I think they got 60 pages. So they could get 60 leaves. They could get 60 leaves cut out. And I even stuck a note in my bags too that said, you could do 7 pages at a time if you have some sharp scissors.
Oh, I didn't think about that. You cut multiple.
So they could, you know, cut multiple pages, 7 pages. So each time they cut through, they got, you know, 21 leaves out of 1 page of leaves.
That's good.
Well, it's just the teacher in me that I think about, you know, ways to make it a little bit easier. But yeah. So they had, so my wreaths actually started out smaller than Maizie's because I ordered the wrong size of the foam thing. So
I think this one's like a 14 inch, maybe a 12 inch, but they go all the way up to like 20 or 24, and then they go all the way down to like an 8 or a 10. So it just depends on what size you want your project to be for the space that you've got. So yeah, you'll figure out what wreath form you want first, and then that will sort of tell you how many leaves you need total. So then you'll be able to sort of figure out, you need so many book page leaves, you need so many silk leaves, and then you'll go from there. But the cutting is definitely the hardest part of this project. It's just very time consuming. So then once you get everything cut out, what you're gonna do is you're gonna start gluing. So I've got some that are already done that I pre-made off camera. That way you guys didn't have to wait. So you'll have your book page leaf and then you'll have your silk leaf, and you'll just hot glue them together. You want to be careful depending on what type of leaf you have. I was telling them before we started that the ones that I have are sort of like a plasticky material, but like Betsy's are more of a silk material. They're not quite as plasticky. So depending on what you're using, you just have to be careful, because when I started gluing mine on, I had them down on the table and I was like, had a whole bunch and I was like pressing them down like this all the way across. But when I came back to the first one, I had stuck it to the table because I had melted it. So you have to be careful depending on what kind of leaf you're using, since it's not real, it's sort of a plasticky material. You just want to be careful. So you'll have a whole bunch of your leaves all ready to go, all glued together, and then you're ready to start gluing them on. For mine, I figured out where my topper was going to be, and then I started near there. So all you'll do is you'll just glue them on. So I'm just going to put a little thing of hot glue down, and then I'm just going to glue my leaf down. And same thing, since it's a foam wreath form, you just want to be careful that you don't like glob all your hot glue on there and then you're pushing on it, because you could melt it. You have to be careful with this. And I just did that all the way around in the same direction on the front. So they're sort of flat on the front. And then once you get all the front ones on, I turned mine over. So this is the top of the form. So this is where the flat side was, and then this is the top. And I just did the same thing, just the same direction, but I did them so that when you're looking at it, you can't see any of the foam that's in there. And I just covered them. So same kind of thing. I just did a little tiny dab of hot glue, and you're just going to stick it on there like that so that it covers it, so that when you're looking at it from the front, or I guess when you're looking at it from the side, you won't be able to see the foam either from the front or from the side. You will be able to see it on the back on mine, because I didn't think, if it's going to hang against a wall or a door, I didn't think anyone would really notice. But you can, if you wanted to do the back, you do the same thing you did on the front. So you do the whole front, then you do the top, and then you turn it over and you could put them on the back if you really didn't want anyone to see them. But I didn't think it mattered too much. So then on mine, something that I noticed is that inside, when I first did it, you could see the white that was on the inside of the wreath. So what I decided to do is I just cut my leaves in half, and then I just sort of turned it and glued them on the inside here, so that the whole, when you're seeing it from the front and it's hanging up against the wall or it's hanging up against the door, the entire thing will get covered, including the part, like if you're looking down at it, you're really tall or whatever, you can't see the inside, so that the whole thing is covered. And then once all your leaves are on, you're just ready to hang it up. So it's not too hard. Longest part is the cutting. That's the most time consuming part, but that's still not hard. If you did multiple pages or you had a punch or something, it would make it a lot easier. And you wouldn't have to spend so much time doing all the cutting. So then, Betsy, why don't you tell them how you did yours? Because yours has some really cute little acorns and stuff on it too. That's a good idea. You could find stuff that you have outside and you could put it on there. I don't know if you could do it with real leaves. It would probably depend on the time of year, because if you waited too long and they were too crunchy, it probably wouldn't go well.
Well, what I did was, like I said, I had the smaller size of the foam wreath, and so I thought I ordered burlap ribbon, and so all of my kits had two pieces of, I think, 2 yards of burlap ribbon to first wrap the whole wreath in and fasten it down with the hot glue gun, and then I began putting the leaves on. Because my wreath form was so much smaller, I had way more leaves, and so that's why I ended up doing the back and kind of filling in. I think this is what it looked like at first, and then I turned it over and I was like, oh. So it just kind of was evolving as I did it, but I knew that I wanted to put a pine cone and some fake acorns on there too.
So you have a real pine cone, but you have fake acorns.
Yeah, the pine cone it's real, but I ordered it on Amazon. It all came with, it was a kit. So it was a bag with like 120 pieces. So
wow.
Each one of my, so the little acorns are fake.
They look real.
They do.
They look really real.
Yeah. So, I think the pine cones probably were real. But anyway, so I thought, okay, so I'll just add a little bit of, so mine looks a little bit more, 3-dimensional, but you can kind of see the burlap on the sides. And anyways.
Yeah. So when you did yours, so you covered yours in burlap first, which of course would eliminate the problem of it being white or green or whatever color you end up with your wreath form. If you covered it first, then you'd be able to see some of it, but it wouldn't just be stark white, which looks really good. I think that turned out really good on yours. So you covered it in that, and then you tied your little hanger onto it.
Yeah.
And then you started doing your leaves.
Yeah, like I said, I had all the leaves done, and I just kind of sat at a table, and I took a paper leaf and then a silk leaf, and I just did a little skinny line of the hot glue, just a little teeny line, and then I kind of held it down with a popsicle stick, so I didn't burn my fingers. And so I had all my leaves done, and then it was like, okay, start assembling them. And I just kind of was remembering what your sample looked like when you'd shown it to me, and I thought, okay, I just started going, and then I had after I did one layer, I was like, oh my gosh, I have so many left. So I just kind of began doing the other side too. So
yeah, I think it turned out really good. So Betsy's, no matter which angle, whether you're looking at the front or you're looking at the back or the side, it's totally covered. Plus she covered her foam wreath to begin with. So no matter what angle you're coming from, you can get different looks. And then you said you ordered your pine cones and your acorns on Amazon.
Yeah.
That's a good idea, because you can go outside and find them, of course, but you have to be careful when you're digging around looking for stuff. I think you could possibly use real leaves, just depending on the time of year, because if you waited too long and they were outside baking in the sun, then they're going to be really crunchy, and so when you're maneuvering them, they're going to crack. So and I did the same thing. I ordered my leaves and everything on Amazon, and then we had, of course, the books and the hot glue. So there's different variations you can do on the project. So we'll hold them up next to each other so you guys can see the difference, what they look like. And of course my little thingy is again too short on this one. But yeah, so that's what Betsy's looks like. This is what mine looks like. So the back of mine is just plain, where hers is covered. But either way, it'd be really cute. So next month we're gonna partner together again, and we're gonna be making a pumpkin candy dish that's made out of a terracotta pot. And I started making mine last week actually, and it was so funny because I ordered the pots online with the, it has the pot and then it has a little tray. And I actually painted the whole thing. I got almost down to the end and I was so excited. I was like, yay, I'm gonna be able to show you guys during this video, which sometimes I try to do. And the lid was too small, because the bottom of the pot is, it like tapers down, comes down to a taper, and it's smaller. So of course I went to put it on the lid and it fell in.
Oh no.
So that was really smart on my part, you guys. You gotta watch out for stuff like that. So next month we are gonna be doing the pumpkin candy jar, but I have to go to the store and buy different lids for you guys so they actually fit on your pumpkin jars. Okay. But we'll be doing that next month.
And I was gonna mention that we had so many people who came into our library to pick up these kits that they were gone fairly quickly. And then I got to thinking, well, gosh, we should do another one. I didn't want to do another order of the wreath things. I thought I'd look at what I had on hand. And so starting next week, there's going to be grab and go bags for a really cute fall garland that is going to be made from felt squares. And at the Pine Top Library, we'll have those available starting next Monday. And I'm going to make probably 15 or so kits. So if you didn't get a kit for this wreath thing, don't worry, there's going to be some grab and go kits for another fall decoration that'll be really easy too, and all you'll need are scissors and a glue gun. And I love fall. There's so many fall beautiful decorations you can make, and fall is great because you can decorate and it goes all the way through September, October, and November. So I just love it. So yeah, so be looking on the Pine Top Facebook page and also our marquee when those kits are going to be ready. I'm hoping by Monday they'll be ready because I'm still waiting on I had to order one color of the felt. Good. I had everything else on hand, so.
That's good. So see, you can make all kinds of stuff with stuff you just have at home. I'll try to remember to share it on our Sholo Facebook page. That way people know that it'll be ready for them to go and pick up. And then, so we'll have lots of fun stuff, including the thing for next month. And then, of course, once we hit next month, we'll be thinking about stuff we can do for Christmas.
I know.
So, and I'm sure there's lots more ideas of stuff we can do for Christmas. So if you guys make this project, go ahead and put a picture of it down in the comments because we want to see what they look like. And I'll also try to add the instructions on our Facebook page later. That way you guys can see them if you missed the beginning of this or if you didn't get to pick up a kit. That way you know what you're going to be looking for. And then if you have an idea for something you want us to do, go ahead and send it to us, either our website or our Facebook page for Betsy or me. You can find us online. I'll try to put all that when I put the instructions. That way that'll help. And if you have an idea for the next couple of months, I have a feeling we're probably going to be doing this again, hopefully. Yeah. And so if you have an idea, we'd love to hear about it. So we will see you guys next month, couple of weeks. Bye.
Bye.